The Ledger Keeper. We begin, dear reader, in the high, cold realm of success. Not the success of spirit or camaraderie, but the quantifiable, sharp-edged success that chills the soul. Profit. Our subject, Sterling Thorne, understood only this ledger. His offices, a monolithic spire piercing the winter sky, were monuments to efficiency. Every corner held a silent accusation of unnecessary expense. Thorne, bundled in the finest, warmest cashmere money could buy, felt a deeper internal frost that no fabric could combat. Thorne's philosophy was simple. If it costs time or money, it is a liability. This philosophy extended even to the small gestures of the season. Below his eagle's nest, one loyal, perpetually overworked employee, Ember Quill, attempted to finish a design brief. The heat in her corner office was demonstrably low, a corporate decision to optimize resources. Ember, shivering slightly, knew that her meager salary barely covered the care for her elderly father, let alone the heating bill at home. Yet, she smiled faintly, marking a small, crooked star on the corner of her blueprint. That night, after dismissing Ember with a curt, non-committal nod regarding her request for a holiday bonus, Thorne retired to his immaculate penthouse. He wasn't haunted by spirits. Not exactly. The weight that descended upon him was far heavier, the accrued interest of his own isolation. As he stared out at the glittering, uncaring city, the sheer emptiness of his wealth seemed to coalesce, becoming palpable. It was not a ghost. It was the echo of unspent kindness. The first visitation arrived not with chains, but with the quiet tick of a forgotten clock. An internal narrator, a voice that had been silenced for decades by spreadsheets and acquisitions, began to speak to him. "Sir," the voice murmured, "we must review the archives of the past, the moments you priced out of existence." Thorne found himself suddenly standing, not in his penthouse, but in the echoing hall of his ambitious youth. The narrator showed him a scene, a young woman, a partner he had abandoned for a faster, richer career trajectory. They were laughing, sharing a simple meal. Thorne remembered the warmth, the effortless joy. A liability his younger self had rationalized, a distraction from the main objective, the ascent. The narrator's voice was gentle but firm. "You bought this silence, Mr. Thorne, at the cost of every genuine smile you might have saved." The second narrative shift, the present, was less nostalgic and far more urgent. He was thrust into Ember Quill's small, functional apartment. Ember was cooking a modest dinner, trying to keep a cheerful conversation going with her frail, elderly father, who sat wrapped in blankets near a small, buzzing radiator. The scene wasn't pathetic, it was resilient. Yet, the cost of his greed was starkly apparent here. The narrator pointed out the small, hopeful star Ember had drawn on her blueprint earlier that day. "You hold the power to ease this struggle, Sterling, not with a handout, but with fair value. She gave you hours of her life, and you gave her a budget cut. Look closely at the resources she manages. Loyalty, dedication, and love. Resources you deem worthless in your accounts." The final narrative journey was swift and brutal. The future. It showed Thorne's office, years from now, empty, silent. His nameplate was gone, replaced by the standardized logo of a corporate merger that had consumed his empire. There was no legacy of change, no memory of benevolence. His greatest fear, not failure, but irrelevance, had come true. The narrator's final words resonated through the emptiness. "Your story, Sterling, is still being drafted. The ledger is open. You have accrued debts of the soul, but you have one currency left that can settle them: immediate, genuine action. The future is not fate, it is the sum of choices you refuse to make today. Choose your ending wisely." Thorne awoke, the expensive silk sheets feeling like rough burlap against his newly sensitized skin. The deep internal frost had cracked. He did not waste a moment. The first call was to his accounts team, demanding an immediate review of compensation and benefits, starting with Ember Quill. He knew redemption wasn't an item to be checked off, but a continuous investment. And for the first time in decades, Sterling Thorne found that the future held an asset far more valuable than profit: purpose.